I don't know if it was it Sai? Were you on just before? You know, whoever was on before, I couldn't see. Sorry, but was saying like, what? It's one thing, obviously. Like Frank's responsible. I'm not sure Frank can do sometimes everything, right? Like at least the goals that we conceded today, that first goal that we conceded. I mean, what are we doing there at the back? The individual defenders are just like awful. Like they're just not marking anyone. But look, I'm just ranting on now already. Like he's got to go tonight. What's the point of giving him the Frankfurt game? Frankfurt, by the way, they obviously went out of the Champions League midweek. They played really badly. They lost to Karabag. The last score I saw the update from today. They were playing Hoffenheim at home. They were 3-1 down. The Frankfurt defence, they're saying, is the worst Frankfurt defence in about 10 years. Literally, they're shipping goals for fun. They're managerless, rudderless, and slipping down the league. Like, we should go to Frankfurt and win, but like, we need to get rid of Frank now. Worst thing is, we'll probably go to, if we give Frankfurt, either we're just going to be terrible and not be able to beat Frankfurt, or we'll beat Frankfurt, which is great, but then that just gives him probably more cash in the bank to attack, February. And because the fixture list is so hard in February, like, do they then say, well, what's the point of sacking him? Because whoever comes in has got to deal with those fixtures. But how many points are we above the relegation zone now? It's just not good enough. Just get rid of him. Get anyone in. Like, seriously.
Yeah, I'm going to come. Ian, thanks for joining us back. I don't know if you're still on holiday at the moment, Ian, but thanks for joining us. You are on mute. Let me try. You need to unmute yourself if you can for me. That's it. Ian, I'm not sure if you are back from holiday yet, and I hope this isn't spoiling your holiday, but at the moment, we are 8 points above that relegation zone. It's worrying going into a really difficult February. I think you're still on mute, Ian. Josh, I'll come to you on that one. It's getting quite worrying, isn't it? We're 8 points above relegation now, going into probably one of the hardest months of football for us in terms of February.
Did you say me? You said Josh.
Joseph, I said.
I thought you said Josh. Yeah, I mean, this is...
I'm going to call everybody every name under the sun tonight. You're lucky I don't call you the C word, the B word, whatever it is. I'm just going to shout names out, and if you want to answer it, go for it.
Yeah, no, this is relegation form. This isn't going to get... It doesn't look like it's going to get better under this manager right now, especially with the fixtures we've got coming up. It looks really scary. It genuinely looks scary. Like, Spurs have flirted with this idea of relegation, I guess, in a sense. They put it in your head every now and then the last 2 years, but I don't think anyone truly believed it was ever going to happen. But genuinely right now, I actually have a worry that we could get relegated. I know it sounds stupid. I know some people sit there and go, there's no, Tottenham are too big for that, but this football that we're watching is relegation form. And the football we're watching is relegation football. I'm sorry. We're going to Burnley, and okay, maybe overall you could say on the balance of the game that we maybe could have won that, but it easily was. Burnley were in that game the whole time. Maybe the first half we did well, and I would say we kind of had control. But again, considering how leak we are at the back, which doesn't make any sense. Like Sai said previously about how he's come in to improve the defense and hasn't seemed to do it at all. It just, I can't believe that this manager's still in charge. He has to go tonight, no doubt in my mind. And if he's kept in, which a part of me is actually really worried he might be kept, because, we've got this Frankfurt game after the Champions League one against Dortmund. He's got a point. I just cannot believe that we're in this position again. Last year, you could say, yeah, down to the injuries and Ange's style of football and everything, we had all these excuses and we finished 17th in the end. And we were lucky that there was 3 teams so much worse than us. There isn't 3 teams so much worse than us this year. There isn't. Wolves look like they'll go down. But after that, it's actually a scary situation Spurs find themselves in. And again, I'm sure you'll have a look at, the fixtures we have coming up. I really don't see where we're going to get points. I really don't. And I think the thing that also scares me is that, yes, Thomas Frank needs to go. We need to get a new manager in. But will things just change when a new manager comes in? Like, we can't say for certain that it will. We get an interim manager in who hasn't maybe got loads of experience. We don't know who's going to come in if Frank leaves. But, going into those games, I still have zero confidence that we're going to pick up results. And, at the end of February, we could be we could be inside the relegation zone. Who knows? That's how worrying it is right now being a Spurs fan. And it's not a position we should ever be in. And I can't believe we're even sitting here talking about it.
No, Ian, I'm going to come back to you. I hope that hasn't affected your holiday if you are still out there, but try and please give us something, because I think we all were chatting. We have a group chat, as people might know. I've said in there he simply has to go. There is no coming back now, right?
I don't see how we can. I picked up bits while the signal went down, and I think it was Phil that said, the defending is getting worse. This was the manager that's meant to get us organised and what have you, get over the mistakes defensively of last year, and then we would go on from that. The reality is we have to score 2 goals at the moment to get a draw. We're conceding, if you look at all the results, 2 or 3 goals a game. I mean, there were things that I thought were positive. I like the formation. So we could have gone in at half time 3 up, and we're not having this conversation. But the fact is, we are having this conversation because we were slack at the back, relied on a last-minute winner, a last-minute equaliser, 2 centre-halves scoring the goals. Attack looks pretty impotent. We're going to have to make a change. But obviously, you've got to have somebody that's going to come in and going to make a change. I mean, I've heard a lot of people talking about Harry Redknapp. I just don't see that happening. I mean, I must say, although the way Martin O'Neill came back to Celtic and rejuvenated them, then they got their permanent manager. And if anybody follows Scottish football, in Wilfred Nancy, lost 6 out of 8 games. And Martin O'Neill's come back and winning games again. He's 70-something. He's way past it. We talked on Diehards a couple of weeks ago about, maybe it was last week, on Xavi Hernandez. I think the smart money, Phil, certainly you'd say the smart money, and everything I'm hearing from other sources in this country is that Alonso wants to go to Liverpool and Slot is going at the end of the season. That makes sense for all parties. But somebody like Hernandez with experience, with a reputation, Glasner's position at Crystal Palace hasn't looked good, but they've said he's agreed to stay to the end of the season.
There's a possibility he does, but there's also a possibility he doesn't, because he's fallen out. You just kind of don't know where things are going to go.
Absolutely. I mean, it really depends on. I think we've all seen this. It's hard to know what the club's strategy is.
Yeah.
So, and then we didn't have a contingency plan. In football, you always have to have a contingency plan. It's not like you recruit a sales manager. If you recruit head of your ground staff, you're not automatically looking for the next one because you're assuming he's going to stay for a few years. But we've had 6 managers in 8 years, or 8 managers in 6 years or something. You at least have to have your eye on, well, what happens if this doesn't work? You always have to have that in football.
Yeah.
And apparently we don't have that. We don't have any idea whatsoever of what we want to do. So we've got no contingency plan, or no temporary manager lined up, no permanent manager lined up. The whole thing is a mess. I said at the Villa game, maybe you want to bring other people in. I said at the Villa game, the cup game, that this team isn't too good to go down. And I remember the team that went down. I watched it in the mid-70s, how it declined and what have you, and a bit like an animal being put out of its misery. Getting relegated came as a relief because it was been happening for 2 or 3 years. Different scenario, different football times. This team is not too good to go down. This team is really poor. And something has to change, and it has to change quickly, because I don't know where the results are coming from. I don't know where the wins are coming from. As someone else said, I don't know
where they are. Definitely in February. I think that Phil touched on it. They would probably be okay potentially against Frankfurt. But the realism is we are in a dogfight. We're in a relegation battle. Adrian, I'm going to come to you because I know that you've said a few times that you felt this was probably a free hit for Thomas Frank this season, which I agreed with. But we are regressing at an alarming rate. Where are you now, sort of after that performance?
I'm fine. I'm fine with it. A point away at any team's a good point to get. Dubravka was man of the match. We should have had the game won at half time. There were positives from Danso played well again. Odebert looked sharp. Solanke started showing his fitness again. You know, even Basuma, laughing gas. I mean, even he was decent. You know, so we've got a point away from home. I mean, like 2 defensive errors cost us, but then Captain Fantastic Romero, 6 goals and 3 assists. That's fantastic for a centre half anyway, them stats. And again with VDV's stats. And he made a couple of timely blocks as well, chasing back and chasing down. All right, defensive errors cost us, but it doesn't mean, but I totally disagree with Si that these are bad players. I mean, they are class players. Both of them are class defenders, without a shadow of a doubt. And, you know, they've proved it on more than one occasion. I get it. It's emotionally charged. It's a game we should have won. We got a draw. Sloppy errors cost us. But I thought that first half and a change of system was very positive.
Okay, I agree with the change of system, the positivity in that first half. My personal issue, and I think I'm going to bring Si in as well, is that we cannot consistently do that over that 90 minutes. And we are effectively playing a bottom 2 side. We should not be having those performances. Si, do you want to come back in on that?
Yeah, of course we shouldn't be. I mean, you look at our results against the teams that are, you know, below us now. They're substandard. They're absolutely awful. And, you know, I'm saying if you are world-class defenders like Van der Ven and Romero are alleged to be, that's my issue with them. You don't have to rescue the game, Romero, because you wouldn't have let those goals in the first place. You are in when you're playing a back 3. You are the linchpin, the master, the controller of the back 3. And yet we let in goals that a Sunday morning team would be embarrassed to let in. Honestly, that's where I think the problem is. And it's all very well people saying, you know, we're too good to go down. No, we're not. And then we have to put up with, and I agree with Adrian, it is emotive, but we've had to put up with all the bullshit about, you know, we want to compete on all 4 fronts, and then the Lewis mob don't even put their hands in their pockets for players better than what we've got. It's just we are a complete basket case of a club, and the manager hasn't got a clue what he wants to do, because I don't see other teams changing from a 4-2-3-1 to a 4-3-3 to a 3-4-3. Game after game after game, constant changes. It just, he hasn't got a clue what he wants to do. He hasn't got a clue. And, you know, lots of people have said it. What is our identity?
Yeah.
There were positives, don't get me wrong. I think Odebert has been really good. And the more games he's playing, the better he's getting. You know, I think that Xavi has given us glimpses. I think we're a better team with Solanke in the side. But you can't keep giving away cheap goals and not be drawn into this relegation battle. I'm sorry, the two just don't go together. If you're going to keep, I think, Ian said, if you're going to have to score 3 goals to win every game, you know, you're going to end up in trouble. It just will not, the two don't come together. And we're not capable of scoring 3 goals a game at the moment, especially with the injuries. And we don't have a left winger, and we don't have a centre forward other than Solanke. God help us if he gets injured. You know, it just goes on and on. We're a basket case, absolute basket case.
No, I have to agree. I can't see anywhere way out for him at the moment. Callum, just coming to you, just initial with the lineup. I like, as we know, and I've said on this show and Diehards, that the 3-4-2-1 is a formation I really like. I think that we all kind of agreed with that on the last show. When you saw that come in today, what was your initial thoughts on it?
I mean, like you said, like everyone said, we was all calling out for change. We liked what we saw on Tuesday against Dortmund. So, yeah, it was positive. how laughing gas is in the team shows how far we have dropped as a club, to be honest, because he is a parasite who should be nowhere near us. I mean, I think we'd all happily drive him to the airport on every single level with that. We come back to the age-old problem. Jed Spence was not a left back. Jed Spence is not a left winger. He should not be on the left side of the pitch. And we have been forced into that by the fact we've got a young Brazilian left back who is nowhere near ready and taken 2 weeks with international clearance. Andrew Robertson hasn't signed yet. Udogie is still nowhere near fit enough to start 2 games in a row. So that's poor squad planning for me. But I would rather have seen Van der Ven out there on the left like he already was, and then Tell, because Porro was crap against Dortmund and he was, and excuse my language, fucking dire today, realistically on every single level. So, and Spence was all right in the second half. So realistically, we are creating problems. We then know that Tell's not going to play Tuesday against Frankfurt. So today was a perfect game for him to play. And once again, it's fallen by the wayside. So apart from Spence, no Tell and laughing gas, I mean, I can deal with it. But I had hope, at least. Turns out my hope was unfounded once again.
Yeah, it's the hope that kills us, isn't it? Phil, just coming to you because I'm conscious you are still sat in the airport lounge there, so I want you to get some thoughts in before you have to catch that plane. Good comment here from Ro, who he says, who's going to want to come and take over that with the run-in? So this alluding to the run-in that we've got coming up in February. I honestly can't see Thomas Frank lasting. If he lasts tomorrow or Monday, I'm going to be shocked again for another week. But for you, I know you're leaning on the side of him leaving, but who do we turn to?
I mean, I think like one thing for me is clear. Number one, you know, they might as well just rip the Band-Aid off, you know, rip the plaster off and make that decision now, because, you know, we can't go into the situation where we are now, right? Where basically every single game, if we don't win it, there's a debate about his future. You know, like it's just too much noise in the background. You know, as I said, I think that he's going to get Frankfurt anyways. I think he's going to get Frankfurt because of rescuing that point today, because he got something. I think he's going to get Frankfurt, and then if we get a result in Frankfurt, although we're qualified anyway, then he'll probably get Man City. And then what do you do after Man City? I don't know, but like every game at the moment just feels like we're delaying the inevitable. And it only makes sense if you would keep him till the end of the season, then back him and somehow be a unified front, which we're not seeing either. So like he's a goner for me. And as for the replacement on it, I mean
but there is a video circulating that Thomas Frank walking off the pitch. If you listen to it, because obviously I can listen, it doesn't go through my audio, which is quite cool. It is shouting very loud, "We want Frank out," and he's clapping that on his way out. So the away fans have made themselves very much known as well. But go back to you on the replacement.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, as I said, like getting someone in like Harry Redknapp it's not gonna happen, you know. And honestly, the players, I don't think they'd even probably respect someone like Harry Redknapp. They probably don't even know who he is, like literally, you know. Like, and it's not gonna happen. Realistically, right now, who do we get in from outside the club? Who's going to come in for that kind of run of fixtures? I honestly don't know, Gary. I don't have a clear option. I don't have a suggestion for who's kind of looking for a job or who's available, and who would only probably come in as an interim, because we're not going to appoint a permanent manager right now. We're going to wait till the summer. So I actually honestly don't know. If I had to make a choice or decide, I would promote someone from inside the club. I would actually just go the like Wayne Burnett route. Or
the rumor at the moment will be that John Heitinger will be the one that will take over on a temporary basis. That's the main rumor that's sort of floating around. Joseph, I'm going to come to you on that one. John Heitinger, Do you think that that's probably a wise decision? Since he's come in, he knows some of the players. He's took training all week by all accounts. There's a player coming from Liverpool that he knows really well. Johnny Heitinga, would that be someone you'd be okay with an interim?
No, not at all. To be honest, I don't think he's good enough. I don't think he's good enough. I think he had 18 games at Ajax and was really poor with them, and he's never been a manager anywhere else. So I don't know what anyone can see in him that makes anyone think he's going to be a good manager so far in his career, especially to take this Tottenham side, which, let's be honest, is in a crisis. I don't think people realise how bad this situation is and genuinely how poor this Tottenham side is. The fact that we're sitting here, we've just lost to Bournemouth, West Ham, who couldn't get a win, couldn't buy a win, and we almost just lost to Burnley, who haven't won since the new year. What was it? 13 games, I think. Like, this is abysmal. Like, I understand, Adrian, I'm sorry to bring this up. I know you said about, getting a point away from home in the Premier League is good. No, it's not. I'm sorry, it's not. It's Burnley. They're a championship level club. That is not good enough for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. This is not where Tottenham should be. Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United, they would not accept a draw away at Burnley as a good result. They would sit there and say, that is crap, we need to win. You go into every game expecting to try and win it. And that's how every one of those teams look. And if we're going to accept mediocrity like this, we genuinely have a chance of getting relegated. I can't believe this is how low this club is sinking. Like, it genuinely is scary. The fact is, we're going into every game expecting... I wasn't expecting Tottenham to win this game. No. That's awful. Like, it's Tottenham Hotspur against Burnley.
Yeah.
We should be going into this. I remember last season we beat them 4-1. Mm-hmm. Like, we should be going into every game.
We beat them 3-0 on the first day of the game.
Exactly. We should be going into these games expecting wins. We should be going against West Ham expecting a win. We should expecting a win against Bournemouth away. I know they're a good side, but we're Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, and this is how bad we are right now. It's pathetic that this is where Tottenham are right now.
It's very, very worrying. Callum, go ahead.
Yeah, so if I can just come in on the back of what Joseph was saying. So our next run of fixtures in all competitions is Frankfurt away, Man City at home, Man United away, Newcastle and Arsenal. Where are we honestly going to get points, apart from maybe against Frankfurt, where we've already qualified 9 times out of 10 to go through in the Champions League, who are already a dead duck? I mean, when was the last time we looked
at everyone and asked? We can ask, but I'll ask everybody individually, and there is just over 600 of you watching, so appreciate that, and let us know in the comments where you think we might get some points. But well, I'll ask everybody. Callum, where's those points coming from in the Premier League as we are now, without any change as we are now?
Maybe against Newcastle at home. That's all I can see, because they're as piss poor as us in some respects. Other ones, no chance.
Site, where we're going to get some points?
I might get a draw at United away. Other than that, nowhere else really for me, because we're shit at home.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Adrian, we both go to the home games. I would allude that we are shit at home. Where are we going to get some points? Because obviously your opinion's very valid. I just can't see where we're getting the points. Please give me something to hold on to.
I don't see why we won't get points. Man United haven't beat us in the last 8 games in all competitions. You wouldn't have believed that under Ferguson. That would never have happened, would it? Man City, we just seem to have their number. 3 of those games in February are at home. All right, I wouldn't take us anything to get anything against them lot down the road, but I can see us picking up points against the other 3 teams.
Okay,
and I can see us beating Frankfurt away as well. And just on the Frank guy, I mean, I'm on record. I said Frank's not our DNA. I think he'll be gone in the summer. But my reason is based on the fact that you've still got 8 to 9 days left in the transfer window. The Board are not going to make a move now. You've got to look at it from the Board's point of view. All the pressure and all the guns rained on them if they do it. We're not even out of the transfer window yet. And you've got to take that into consideration. If he was to go, then at least the Man City game at home is after the transfer window. It's in February. And then on the 5th, we have to announce our ECL team where we can change 3 players. So, I mean, I just don't see them getting rid of it. And if you're going to bring someone in, I don't want a temporary. If you bring someone in, bring a manager in, because we're not going to progress otherwise. You don't progress by bringing a temporary
Who's that
manager.
manager for you, though? Who's that manager you bring in?
Well, the thing is, there will be a glut of managers available after the World Cup in 26. You know, Poch would come and unite the fan base. He's the go-to if you couldn't get someone better. And if you fancied Nagelsmann or Tuchel or Alonso, you know, or Xavi, or whatever, if you fancied any of them, you probably have to wait. If they were going to come in now, then by all means, go for any one of them. But they're not. They're not. I mean, they'll play their cards close to their chest as well. So I don't see Frank going. I get the reason that everyone's disappointed with the draw. I mean, I just think in our current form, that point was a good point. Joseph disagrees with me. That's fair enough. I respect people's opinions, but I don't do hate and I don't get involved in like slanging matches. So I just express the point of view, and people either agree, disagree, you know, at their leisure. But I don't see Frank going, and I think we will get points out. He's going to be different football. It'll be more open, which sorts us. We'll either get well beat or we get results.
Phil, coming to you, minus the Frankfurt game, where do you see points coming? And just before I do come to you, there was a report multiple times that Mauricio Pochettino's name was being chanted by the away fans of his magic. You know, it was sung during the game, during the first half, the second half, and at the end of the game as well. Phil, are you still with me? Phil potentially is.
I think he's given up.
What does anyone remember the Tom Hanks film?
But to be honest,
he's
1,000 yards there. That.
Are you with us, Phil?
sorry, did I drop off? Yeah, I'm back now.
Where do you see the points coming from?
I think we've got a chance of a point at home against Newcastle and maybe a point away. But my issue is our defence is so bad at the moment. I think United will beat us at home. And, you know, United are better under Carrick as well now. Newcastle, I think, like if Gordon's playing, you know, people like that, they'll destroy us as well. I can see us getting nothing from all of those games, and we'll do well to get, you know, we'll do well because I think we're just going to concede too many goals. I think we're going to concede too many goals. That's the problem. Like, regardless of what we do now, from an attacking perspective, I just can't see us keeping clean sheets or, you know, even keeping the opposition to 2. Arsenal are probably going to destroy us at home. It could be, you know, it could be bad. And look, I mean, again, on reflection, looking back to Dortmund, like, you know, I was quite positive after Dortmund. But again, if I have to maybe reflect a bit on it and look at it, take maybe some rose-tinted glasses off again. I mean, even the German press said Dortmund were awful. Dortmund didn't play very well in that game, you know, and they were 10 men. And we talk about what happened in the second half. So I'm not confident. I can see us getting 1 point out of those 4 fixtures, honestly. And Frankfurt, to be honest, there's no excuse not to go to Frankfurt and win because everyone else is winning in Frankfurt.
Yeah, Ian, just coming to you, there's a comment that's come through. It says Spurs might not get a point from their next 7 Premier League matches. Just think about that. You need to unmute yourself, Ian. I'm not able to unmute you. Joseph, we'll go to you on that one. The comment was Spurs might not get a single point in the next 7 Premier League matches.
Yeah, I mean, that's just really scary. I mean, again, obviously that we don't know what will happen. You never know. You know, it's always you can always think, oh yeah, we could not get a point for the rest of the season. Who knows? But you know, you don't know. You could end up getting a win in the next game, and then things kind of feel so much different, don't they? So, yeah, I mean,
can you hear me, Gary?
I can hear you. Yeah,
it's just it's just.
Do you want me to take that one then?
We'll take it. Let Joseph finish, and then we'll come to you as well.
Okay, mate.
Yeah, it's just a really tough time at the moment because we just don't know. We don't know we don't see any light at the end of the tunnel right now. You know, I appreciate, you know, some people might be able to look at it kind of glass half full and see some of the positives. I just struggle to at the moment, just from each game. You know, even the Dortmund game, you know, I saw a really positive 30 minutes, and then the rest of the game, I thought we were really poor. I thought, you know, against a 10-man Dortmund side that are really, you know, they really didn't look good. I thought we should have gone on and really made that game ours, and we couldn't. And that was a real shame. So, yeah, it's a tough one at the moment. I just don't see where things are going to improve. You know, in that question you were asking about, you know, where we're going to pick up points. At the moment, on paper, I don't see us picking up any of them. Obviously, again, a game can change. You don't know what's going to happen. But, you know, I think Manchester City you know, I know that we kind of have their number sometimes, but, you know, we always go into it thinking Manchester City are better than us every time we play against them. We always think Manchester City are better than us. Manchester United, we don't know how well they're going to be turning a corner, but it was a great result they got against City last weekend. Whether they'll replicate that over the next couple of coming weeks, we'll see. And then, you know, Newcastle and Arsenal. I mean, Arsenal we won't get anything from. And Newcastle, I think that's a game maybe we can pick up some points in. But you just don't know. You don't know with the Spurs size because you just don't know what performance you're going to get. You know, going into this game today, again, I wasn't hopeful. But part of me still thinks, you know, it's Burnley. This is Tottenham. You know, we can play them off the park if we really want to. But we can't. We can't. That's what's so worrying. We can't seem to dominate any game of football. And yeah, it's just again a really, really scary time, and you just got to hope that either the manager goes and somebody comes in and gets something out of these players, which again seems hard to believe when you just say it out loud. You don't expect somebody to come in and just change everything, but at the moment, you know, we all know the playing squad probably isn't good enough, and we need some reinforcements. But is that going to come? We don't know. The ownership, I think overall, people obviously have their opinions on that and maybe want some new owners in. And that's fair enough. But if you look at the one thing we can change right now and try and get something to change, it's the manager. And I think that's the avenue you have to go down in this moment. But I do agree with Adrian in the sense of, like, you know, an interim, is that really going to be the right thing for Spurs? Is that going to start changing and get a more out of the team than we're currently getting anyway? It's just a really worrying time because you just don't know where Tottenham are going.
Yeah, and so just coming to you on that, because you were shaking your head, you agree with Adrian and you agree with, obviously there with Joseph, that the interim kind of isn't the answer. But things can't continue as they are. Who would you go to? Who would you be looking for to bring in? Because I can't see Thomas Frank continuing. Well,
for me, you have to say, this is just my view on it. If you want Pochettino, you go and tell Pochettino who, you know, that you want him. If that's who you want, I have to say, for me, it's a no. He's your ex is an ex for a reason, but that's by the by. But if the club want Pochettino, you go and get him, and then you say, right, who do you want us to get that you can incorporate into your coaching staff? And will form part of your team in the summer. Or if you want a Xavi Alonso, you go and get him. Or if you want a Xavi Hernandez, you go and get him. But we cannot have an interim manager. You've got to have a full-time manager. And if you, like I said, if it's not someone who can come now, then they have to appoint somebody on their behalf who can take care of the team until they're available. But the one thing certain for me, you can't leave it as it is now, because we are in trouble. We don't have the players with the guts, the fight and the guile to dig ourselves out of it. And if we're not careful, you know, look at the run of form that we're on. It won't become a run of form. It will be the modus operandi. And what everybody seems to forget is that this isn't just a problem of this season. They got used to losing last season. The mentality isn't right. And it's, you know, whether there's a complacency around it, we're too good to go down. Well, you weren't too good to finish 17th last season, and you're certainly not good enough to finish lower than that this season, in my opinion. You're not good enough.
No, I agree with you. Ian, just coming to you, I can unmute you now. Which I have done. There's a comment that's come through. It says that they don't believe Thomas Frank would go. They believe that Enoch will give him the Frankfurt game to ensure automatic qualification so that they can use that additional funds to pay him off. Where are you on that?
Would be typical of Enoch. Where has that come from?
That's come through on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, because you know, as I do, there's an awful lot of garbage on this. I wouldn't put that past them. Although Frankfurt are a really poor side, even worse than us, and we've actually been okay in the Champions League. So that's a terrible indictment of the club if that's that's true. I have my doubts, not least of which, you know, from the sources you've got and Cal's got, there is significant amount of money, transfers.
That's more of a fan comment than sort of any.
So well, look, we will see. There's obviously got to be meetings and what have you. The problem of trying to get Pochettino is he is under contract, and any manager under contract, save Glasner, is not going to be walking out of their contracts, or being permitted to walk out of their contracts. Unless the USA Federation were happy for Pochettino to leave, then he will have to honour that. I don't think Frank can stay, and I think the idea that he can stay to the end of the season in the hope that we stay up and then move him on, I think is dangerous nonsense, really dangerous, because this team is in such awful form. If Xavi Hernandez was available, I would take him. And even if you said, come and have a look, 3.5-year contract, you can have a break at the end of the season. Come and have a look at us. And if it works out, well, it's a 3-year contract. He's a good manager. He's a good coach. But something has to change. Something has to change now. It can't go on like this.
Does Callum, does someone like Xavi Hernandez walk in the door and the players are instantly see the respect because of what he's done on the football pitch? And also, Oliver Glasner, there's still reports that, the relationship is fractured. We played his formation today as well. Is he potentially someone we could get immediately, or is he not someone you would be interested in? It's kind of a two-parter there.
I mean, Xavi would definitely have the backing behind him as a ex-player, and we can't honestly say his time at Barcelona was bad. It was just he was a very outspoken man. He was very much, you do it my way or no way. So it's whether the Spurs mentality or the squad's mentality would back what he wants. That's one of my main concerns, to be honest. It's not even that whether he would want to come to Spurs or not. It's whether this squad is mentally strong enough to actually do it, what he wants. And he obviously had a lot of uproar with the Barcelona board about backing as well. So would he want to come in now and be backed automatically? It's a really difficult one for that. Glasner, for me, though, I honestly can't see it happening. I don't think that he would go or want to do anything with us, to be honest. It's a difficult one. Yeah. And realistically, they're going to want a severance clause. Xavi's going to want a big sign-on clause. It was quite fitting, though, at the game today that Pochettino's name was sung 3 times by the crowd today, saying they want him back. And then there was another moment where they sung, Thomas Frank, your football is shit, as well. Yeah. So the problem is, home fans are a dime a dozen, and no offense to anyone who goes to home games or has a season ticket, but there's a lot more of you guys. The away fans are the ones that you got to keep the backing of, because they're the ones that pay top dollar, go around the country backing you. And I feel he's finally lost them now.
I think
that's
both,
the problem that
both of those are good viewpoints. The reason I think the away fans are heard more is because it gets diluted a little bit in that massive stadium. And I think everybody that's been there's a lot of people that aren't necessarily Tottenham fans. They're there for a night out, or they're there on business trip or travelling over, and those aren't going to sit there and start chanting for Thomas Frank out. However, I'm just going to share something that's come through from the Tottenham from the Tottenham Twitter account. It's Xavi Simmons speaking after the after the game.
Okay, Xavi's here. Xavi ended 2-2. We got a late equaliser, but it feels like a game we should have won.
Yeah, we needed this 3 points, so I would say we deserve to win. But yeah, this is what it is, and we have to go to continue.
The first half, that system worked so well, and we got ourselves in front, and we were in control. Was it that equaliser just before half time that rocked us a little bit?
Yeah, I think we cannot concede this goal 1 minute before the half time. We spoke about it. And yeah, then you're trying to come the second half and they scored the first one day and that's hard. But at the end, keeping working and not leaving the game.
Second half, we weren't in as much control, and then they get ahead. But then we just threw everything at them. You hit the crossbar as well. The keeper's made 9 saves, Xavi. I mean, you must be wondering how we've not come out of here with a win.
Yeah, we had a lot of chances, but at the same time, what I said before, we cannot concede this type of goals because that are points that we are living here and we know that. So yeah, it is what it is. We have to continue and yeah, Tuesday next game.
You just come out of the dressing room. I mean, what's the feeling in there? You must all be disappointed.
Yeah, we are all disappointed, and yeah, we have to go on and continue to work, and then we'll see what will happen.
Okay, Xavi's here. Xavi.
Adrian, just coming to you because you talked about Dubravka being sort of the man of the match, and the interviewer there is kind of alluding to that as well. 9 saves. Xavi looks a bit of a broken man after that game. Bless him for coming out.
He's always got that agonised expression on his face, whether we're doing well or not, and he's got that sort of twisted face that looks like he's unhappy all the time. Some people have got a sort of smile on their face all the time, where it's sort of stuck there, like, you know. But I mean, we had 18 shots, 11 on target, and hit the bar. When's the last time we done that in a game? I mean, we're bright against Dortmund, but we didn't have as many chances against Dortmund. So that is a positive as far as I'm concerned. We're creating more chances. I mean, Dubravka did pull off some fine saves. I mean, like, and like, I mean, it's ifs and buts, isn't it? I mean, like, if a couple, we should have won comfortably. We should have been comfortably in the lead, like 3-0 up at half time. Really, we should have been. We started brightly, we played well, and of course we've got a result that people aren't happy with. So that it's after a game when the emotions are running high. So I get the angst, but I think we played really well. The second half was just like a war of attrition. It was very scrappy.
Yeah,
but we still got forward in good positions in the second half, even though it was scrappy, and. We still could have scored again, but I mean, before they scored and made it 2-1, we could have scored. But it didn't happen. When you're down there, that sort of thing goes. I mean, I suppose you could say, well, you shouldn't really, rely on luck. You should make your own luck. All you can do is just keep working harder and harder to play through this.
Keep going and going and going. And absolutely. At the moment, a lot of those things aren't going for us. They're the difference. They're the fine details, aren't they?
If you look down rather than up, and I tend to look up as Spurs fans look down. I mean, all right, we're 7 points above. I don't never believe we're in a relegation. So until we're in 3 points of the team in third from bottom, that's the mathematics I would use. I don't think we're in fear of relegation at all, actually.
Yeah, Joseph, just coming to you, obviously, it was a good first half. I mean, it was probably a good 40 minutes, like me and Sy had spoken about a minute earlier. But Vicario, again, making just a silly, the last minute, could just smashed it upfield, get ourselves into half-time, makes the pass over to Romero, who's not switched on. And then from the ensuing throw-on, they score. Vicario, it never sort of doesn't get a lot of... niceness said about him. He makes a mistake and we're always costing us. Where are you on Vicario? Because I'm struggling a little bit at the moment.
Yeah, I think long term, Tottenham definitely need to look at the goalkeeper position and think about who is going to be the number one. Hugo Lloris was a mainstay in the Tottenham goal for such a long time, and he was a solid goalkeeper throughout his whole career. And Vicario, I think at times he's a good shot stopper. Even then, sometimes that's to be desired. But his distribution is awful. He cannot play with his feet, and that's a problem because modern day footballers, modern day goalkeepers have to be as good with their feet as outfield players. It's just naturally how footballers become. So when you've got a goalkeeper that's struggling to do that, it definitely shows. And because Tottenham are so fragile at the back, as soon as somebody makes a mistake, we end up conceding. I mean, again, I completely agree with you. It was a poor pass. Romero's not switched on. They get the throw, but there's no reason why that should still be a goal. You know, Twanzabi's unmarked in the 6-yard box. That should never be happening. And that I can't blame that one on Vicario. As much as maybe it's his fault that leads to the chance, at that point we still should be able to stop that from going in. We should be able to stop Twanzabi from getting to that ball, at least be challenging him rather than just giving him complete freedom. And I think, you know, this whole thing, again, I agree that the sense of, I think we probably did deserve to win the game on the basis of it all. I think we did, you know, the first half we did play well, but we don't score enough goals. Our forwards aren't clinical enough. You know, in the moments where they need to be, they don't seem to get the ball in the net. And the thing is, we've had to rely on 2 defenders once again to score us goals, which is a problem. It feels like this season, I mean, people keep on bringing up Van de Ven and Romero's goals this season and assists. That's great, but they are defenders. We shouldn't be needing them to score goals, but we do. We do need them to score goals. Against Newcastle, we needed Romero to bail us out. In important Champions League games, defenders are the ones who are scoring the goals to get us over the line. It's never actually our forward players. I mean, I don't know what the stats are specifically, but we can't have a forward player over, 5 or 6 goals other than maybe Richarlison this year. And that's really poor. So we need more from our front line. We need clinical moments. You know, there's moments in that game, 100% we could have scored goals. There was Odebear in the first. I've had a couple of chances, but just snatched at them. Didn't really put them in the best positions. The same with Xavi. Obviously, I know he hit the bar, but he's inside the box. No one really around him. That should be going on target. And unfortunately, he's hit the bar. You know, it's those moments where you need clinical players to score goals. And in the Premier League, like we just saw from Burnley, they had 2 chances and scored 2 goals, although they weren't really difficult chances. They had 2 chances and scored 2 goals. And Tottenham had how many chances and haven't scored?
Callum, you just put your hand up there like you need to say something. Go ahead.
So I've got the stats for 25-26 of all goals and assists by players at the moment, currently in the squad. So Richarlison has 11 goal contributions, 8 goals, 3 assists. Paulinho, 5 goals, 3 assists. Kudus, 3 goals, 5 assists. Romero, 6 goals, 2 assists. Van de Ven, 7 goals, 2 assists. Simmons, 2 goals, 4 assists. Odebear, 2 goals, 4 assists. Muani, 2 goals, 3 assists. Bergval, 1 goal, 3 assists. Porro, 4 assists. Tell, 3 goals. Bentancur, 1 goal, 1 assist. Solanke, 1 goal. Gray, 1 goal. Udogi, Davis, 1 goal, 1 assist each. That's all for us.
Phil, I am conscious that you're probably about to leave to get on a flight home. Please give us your final thoughts before you make that mad dash to the plane. I was referring you earlier to the Tom Hanks film where he stays in the airport. I can't remember what it's called now. Because terminal, that's it. Well, how can you not remember that when you're in the terminal? Because you just you froze for a minute, and I thought you were off nicking trolleys to try and save up enough money for a drink. But Phil, see us out with some your last views on that performance.
Can I just say first of all that I can't stand that Spurs reporter or interviewer anymore? Like, is it Miles or something? Milesy or just always asking leading questions. And anyways, that's another topic. I think it's just every week, you know, we have similar issues, you know. We are creating more chances, I think, compared to a couple of months ago. You know, our XG has been higher. But again, our standards have dropped and our expectations and standards have dropped so low that we kind of, you know, get kind of happy when we have a good 45 minutes, when we see a few chances, you know. Like, the fact remains is that, you know, our defenders are the only ones that score the goals. People like Odebear, Tell, you know, anyone in the forward line are not scoring enough goals. You know, I know keepers, like today, the keepers had a good game, but we should score more goals out of the chances that we probably did create today. But we just conceded, you know, so easily again. And every game we're conceding. And I think that this is just going to continue for the rest of the season. I appreciate and I'm impressed with Adrian's positivity. Actually, you know, like I'm normally positive about Spurs, and I try and find the positives out of performances or situations. You know, and I was doing it the whole time with Frank, but I've just seen too many signs and too many issues with this team and the manager. It's going to get any better, and I don't really see what changes with Frankfurt. I don't see what changes with Man City. You know, I don't think Frank is the right guy for this football club. And look, I think they're going to try and keep him till the end of the season, but we are in a I think we're in a relegation battle. You know, with that many points ahead, only, was it 7 or 8 points? I mean, West Ham are winning games now. That's 2 in a row for them. If we don't get a result against Man City and we don't get a result against the next one, and West Ham pick up 3-4 points, obviously worst case 6, we're half done for straight away. You know, like we're that close, and we're probably not going to sign anyone else by the end of the window now, because the board has put ourselves. The board is at fault for the situation now. So I don't know.
Phil, I'm going to let you go.
I'm going now. I'm going to my gate. I'm going to my gate. I'm taking off. Bye.
I'm going to let you go and chase Catherine Zeta-Jones now. So enjoy the flight. Thank you again, and safe travels. All the best. Phil.
Does anyone fancy to be rolled up a little bit? Because I've got a direct quote from Thomas Frank after his post-match interview.
I do have one thing I just need to say, then you can wind Sai up, because I reckon Sai is going to be the one that's going to go. Ian, I'm going to come to you. Bournemouth are playing Liverpool at the moment. It's currently 0-0. If they win, they go above us. We drop down to 14th place, still with Crystal Palace to play this weekend. It could get even worse for us. I've unmuted you, Ian, so you should be good. Not sure Ian can hear me. Can you hear me, Ian?
He said his sound's gone.
Okay, sound's gone. Okay, so we're just going to pull him out. Joseph, I'll come to you, because I reckon Sai the Fox is going to get foxy. I don't know.
I'm gonna kill him with
there's
this one.
There's 800 people in here, and there's gonna be some steam coming out of those zeros. Bournemouth 0-0 currently with Liverpool. If they win, which is quite likely because they're at home, obviously they have lost some of their better players, but it's likely. Liverpool are a bit up and down. Palace tomorrow could get even worse for us.
Yeah, definitely. And again, it like what Philip said before he left. If you genuinely look at the
stop a moment, Bournemouth have scored. It is 1-0 Bournemouth.
There you go. Well, I think when what Phil
that
said,
veins appeared in Sai's head. That fucking veins there.
Yeah, I think when you look at all of this, and then you also think about what Phil said as he was leaving, you know, you look at the fixtures coming up. I mean, I don't know about every other team's fixtures and who they've got coming up, but I genuinely think Spurs, you can easily lose to Manchester City. You can easily lose away to Manchester United. You can lose these games very easily. And if they pick up points, we're going to be closer and closer and closer to that relegation zone until we're in it. So it's really worrying times, because at the moment, you don't expect Tottenham to have this change in an upturn in form where they're going to start picking up results, because they haven't proven it over the last couple of months. So it's a real worry, because I feel like other teams have a lot of more, you know, a lot more fight in them. I feel like a lot of times with this team, when we seem to, you know, when our backs are against the wall, we kind of crumble rather than bounce and try and fight. And I mean, Burnley, they showed fight in this game. Yeah, they weren't amazing in the first half. They came out the second half the better team, and at the start of it, especially, they really brought the game to us. And we don't see that enough from Spurs. It always seems to be a decent first half and a poor second half. It always seems to be that, and that's not good enough. You can't. Feels like we always get worse throughout games, and our opponents get into it, and that's it's not good enough. It's not what you need in the Premier League, because these teams will fight for their lives. They will do everything they can. You know, I think our players suit the European style of football, because it isn't as physical as what this Premier League is. This is about passion and about who wants it more, and Tottenham don't seem to want it more than other teams do, and that's a real worry.
Callum, I'm pretty sure I know which of the two quotes you're going to go for. So I'm going to go for one, and I'm going to let you go for one, and I'm pretty sure the one I've got ready is going to be the right one. So if you go, and then I'll unmute Si, and then I'm going to mute my headset just in case.
Okay, mate. So Thomas Frank said the following. I don't think it was a bad performance. It was maybe not the result we hoped for. I think the performance, if you look at it throughout the game, especially in the first half, was good. The way we ended the game, good. Average second half, which you've seen many times. Then, unfortunately, it lacked with 2 moments where we didn't defend it well enough. That's what we are working very hard on to try to get on top of, while we are fighting everything we can to perform in the Champions League and Premier League. That's the way it is.
Si?
I'm almost speechless on claptrap like that. I just want to go back. I love Ian's positivity, and I love the positivity that. Sorry, not that Ian. Adrian's positivity. But I come from an era. I'm an old fart, I know, but it used to be kind of fashionable for defenders to defend. Ask Stevie Perryman, ask Graham Roberts, ask Mike England, ask Cyril Knowles, ask whomever you want to say. If we keep conceding goals and Frank can't see what the problem is, and he keeps coming out with a claptrap that he speaks after every bloody game, then we're for the birds, mate. We're going to go down. You have to defend. And I'll go back. I'm just going to, prick people's conscience over recent matches. All of the Bournemouth goals could have been stopped. All of the West Ham goals could have been stopped. The 2 goals today could have been stopped. And if we do that, we win all 3 games. All 3 games we win only, and we don't, because we are incapable of defending, and we've got defenders who are lauding it that they're scoring goals, in my humble opinion. How about you defend, guys? The position you're picked to play in the team is to defend, to stop the other team scoring. And to be quite honest, in recent times, you've been dog shit crap at it. You have been absolutely terrible. And as a back 5 or 6 as it was today, you got to hold your hands up and say, we're not good enough. And that, more than any other thing with a team, if you aren't good enough at defending, you will go down. That's it. You get just finish it there.
Thomas Frank has also had this to say about our message to fans. Joseph, I'll come to you on this as well. He says, I think the message to the fans, as I've said the whole time, is that we're working very hard to make sure everything is going in the right direction, and we'll keep doing that.
I'm fed up of him just keep on saying we're working hard. He says it after every single game. He says we're working hard. I don't give a shit if you're working hard. You're not doing anything. Like, yeah, exactly that. Copy and paste comments. It's the same thing after every single game. I hope somebody eventually asks him, do you think you're going to get relegated, and see what he says? Because genuinely, like, someone give him a question to actually see how he's going to react to it. Like, get a different answer out of him, because genuinely just saying, oh, we're working hard. Look at the position you're in with Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Look at the position. Like, this is appalling. This is awful where we're at right now. Coming out of this stretch of games where we've lost to Bournemouth, lost to West Ham, out of the FA Cup, we've got, well done. You beat Dortmund, a 10-man Dortmund, well done. The rest of it, it's just been awful. And it's like, after every game, we're working hard to resolve it. It's been 7 months of the same shit football.
Yeah.
You can keep on saying you're working hard. Nothing's changing. So what's the point? We need something to change.
Bournemouth have just scored a second goal. This really is not going right for us at all. If Palace could get a win up tomorrow, and they're at home against Chelsea, I think I mean, we're in big trouble. Adrian, just coming to you on some of the comments that Thomas Franks made after the game, saying that, you know, they're trying and they're trying their best, and they'll keep doing that.
I'm on record. I mean, I said he'll be gone in the summer, and that's what I think. I don't think he'll be gone as early as you guys want, but I think he'll be gone. And I've stated my reasons why I think the board won't do it now, because all the pressure will be on them. They're under pressure in the transfer window now. That isn't finished, so nothing's going to happen. It was going to happen. It'd happen at the end of the transfer window, not now, because I still think we'll get 1 or 2 in. On the subject of goals that Callum made, very good point. Because when we finished second under Poch, he wasn't back for 518 days in the transfer market, and we finished second, third, and fourth. When we finished second, we scored 86 goals. Right now, the league has been won on 86, but out of Man City 7 times they've won it. I think they scored over 100 goals in the cup 2 or 3 times. But if you just take 86, look at our team. We should be aiming to challenge for the title. Where are we getting 86 goals from? And the reason I say that is because now in the modern game, less goals are scored. So, you know, I watched the double side play, right? You know that it was quite common for a top striker get 20, 25 goals a season. When you had Archibald and Crooks, one would get 25, one would get... Fans now are happy if the main striker gets 15. I just can't believe it. I can't believe that. I mean, Kane's a freak. You get the odd freak. Haaland scored 20 already, and he gets dropped, and he scored 20 goals, right? So, but... I mean, we now bring wingers into the game, but I don't care if you've got Messi on one wing and Ronaldo on the other. If you're a winger that doesn't score goals, I don't really want you in my team, because you can't rely on whichever central striker you're playing to get you 30, 35 goals a season. Kane's gone. You know, you get the world-class player that do it, but he's gone. I mean, where are we getting even 86 goals? If you said a good rate, I don't know what it is. I mean, I'm not getting in a ring with Gary over coaching, right? But back in the day, a good strike rate for a striker was 1 every other game, and a good strike rate for a wide player was 1 in 4. Son was exceptional because he got 1 in 3, and he was sort of an inside forward come winger, really, anyway, you know. But these wingers now in the game, I bet if Callum, when I looked at the stats, I bet hardly any of them get goals because the football's so robotic anyway, right? They don't score goals. I mean, so really, if there's an out-and-out striker out there that you've got to go and pay 100 mil for that can do not maybe quite as good as Son, or can pay the money.
Yeah, we definitely do. And talking about scoring goals, Thomas Franks had this to say as well after the game about defenders scoring. He said, yeah, it's fantastic. 2 defenders scoring again. That is very positive. But of course, you need more from your offensive players. They know it. They work very hard on it. It is not that they don't want it, but of course they need it. I don't know what that even means. But the day we add that together, plus defending a tiny bit better, then we will win. Si?
A tiny bit better? How about just defending? But look, Adrian's spot on the money with that players don't score as many goals as they used to, and it is robotic football. However, if you go and look at the goal scoring record this season of, you know, forget Arsenal, but if you took forget Arsenal, Man City, if you take the other teams and even Bournemouth, they score more goals than Spurs do. So therefore, they're going to do better in games. But what I would also say about Poch is when we had who I considered to be 2 world-class players at centre-back, Toby and Jan, wasn't it one season we let in 19 goals? Wasn't it another season we let in just short of 30? That's what makes the difference, because if you're not shipping goals, you're in most games, aren't you? And then you can, you know, perhaps sneak the odd 1-0, 2-1, whatever, whilst you're, you know, smashing teams up in other games as we used to back then. But whilst you're shipping goals for fun against teams that are the bottom teams in the bloody division, you're going to go absolutely nowhere. And that is the problem. And, you know, I keep coming back to this point. I say Romero and Van der Ven individually are very good defenders, and what they're showing in the league at the moment is they are not world class, because world class defenders do not let that second goal happen down the middle past the pair of them. That is not world class defending. That is Sunday morning under 11s defending, in my considered opinion. And until Frank gets it in his head that it's not a bit better defending we need proper defending. That's what we need. Stop all that crap. Stop Semenyo shooting in the last minute. Stop Evan Nielsen having a free header, because I was there at Bournemouth. Stop that defender putting the cross in where they got the third goal. And stop Somerville before he gets anywhere near your penalty area. Hack him down, Porro, if you have to, but do some proper dirty defending, and then you're not behind in these games. For goodness sake, it's not rocket science. It's just football common sense. Stop the simple goals and you will do better. And then it takes the pressure off of the forward players. And when the forward players have got less pressure on them, they express themselves more. They do better. You can't just keep expecting them to perform under pressure. Well, like Adrian quite rightly pointed out, and the other guys have as well, you've got to score 3 goals a game to win and 2 goals a game to get a draw. That's too much pressure. Too much pressure.
Yeah.
Not good enough.
Absolutely. Now, this is a 2.5 minute speech here from Thomas Frank, but just looking at that expression on his face, he does look quite broken, actually. Joseph, I'll come to you after we listen to Thomas Frank's comments.
Thomas, thanks for joining us. It's ended 2-2 at Turf Moor. I mean, look, we fought back at the end and got the point, but it just feels like a game we should have won.
It's definitely a game we should have won. That's very frustrating not to stand here with 3 points. I think the boys do a lot of things right throughout the game. I think especially the first half is good. Coming here, dominating. On top of it, we score the 1-0 goal. We could have gone the second. And the second, I think we are, if not out of sight, we are definitely in an even better position. Then we concede a goal just before halftime. We can never ever concede that goal. And that just bring a little bit bad feeling into the changing room. Try to do everything we can to change it. Coming out, I think second half is not as controlled in the way we want it to be. Still create a big chance to Dom. It could have put us 2-1 up, and then momentum changed a little bit again. Then we concede another goal. Can't concede that either. After that, the boys show great character, fighting, doing everything they can to go back in the game. When we create 3 or 4 big chances, score on one of them, get 2-2. But it's frustrating we don't get 3. We should have gone 3 with the performance.
You're right. It's the goal just before half time, isn't it? Because, I mean, we got up to 10 efforts at goal in the first half before they equalised. You just think one of those goes in, Dubravka doesn't make one of those saves, and then we're away, aren't we?
Yeah, I agree. I think first half, that's where we need to football about momentum, and when you're on top of it, you need to score the second goal, which we didn't. But if you don't do that, then make sure we don't concede the 1-1, and that's the big thing.
I can see why you're getting frustrated, because when I'm looking at these games, Bournemouth should have won it, West Ham should have won it, today should have won it, really, shouldn't we?
Yeah, I think that's extremely frustrating that we are standing here with doing a lot of things right, not perfect, but a lot of things right, and more than enough to get a lot more points than we got. But there's only one way, that's head down, work hard, do more, keep fighting, keep doing the right things, keep walking forward, and that we will do.
And just before I let it go, Pedro and Kuti okay under that? Obviously, they came off.
Yeah, Romeo is fine, just cramping. Pedro, is fine. There's also a little bit of physical fitness. He played a lot of minutes to put Jet to the right, and then Destiny on.
Just coming to you, Joseph, obviously, relating to his comments, Pedro Porro's been run into the ground. That's why he's got to come off, and he's got to come off at half time. He's been run into the ground. And what do you make of his comments? Again, he's come out. They've put him out there. He must be staying, because he wouldn't be doing these interviews, surely.
It just feels like he says it feels like he says the same thing after every game. He always says that we should never concede this goal. We should never concede this goal, yet we continue to concede those goals. So that, again, I understand what he's saying, but okay, well, how can you stop us from conceding stupid goals like we keep on doing? Is it the players' fault? Are the players not good enough? Or is it also down to their concentration, their mentality, what, you know, they're feeling around everything around the club right now? I don't know. I don't know why we're conceding stupid goals, because we are conceding poor goals. It's not like teams are creating really great goal scoring chances. We are giving them the opportunity to score. And he keeps on saying we should never concede this. We should never concede this. Well, why? Why does it keep happening then? You've said this so many times this season. And you know what? I understand if you look at it, and the way he'll look at it is go, oh, you know, overall in the balance of the game, we should have won it. You need to win games. It doesn't matter if you should have won it. You need to win. It's about getting points. It doesn't matter how well you play if you don't get a result. If we went into that game and played awfully and got a 1-0 win, no one would, obviously people would be disappointed, but we've got 3 points that we need. So far, again, we played against Bournemouth, we should have won, we didn't. Played against West Ham, we should have won, we didn't. We played Burnley today, we should have won, we didn't. It keeps on happening that we're not winning games. You need to start picking up points, because teams below you will eventually start picking up points, even when they probably don't deserve to. Burnley haven't looked great in any of their games, yet they've just got 3 points from 3 games against Manchester United, Liverpool and Tottenham. They will pick up points. Yeah. Wolves are doing it. I mean, again, Wolves are probably down, but West Ham are starting to actually play better now, and they will keep on picking up points. And there'll be games where they don't play well and they will pick up points. The problem is Tottenham just don't seem to want to pick up any points, no matter who they're playing. And that is a massive issue. It doesn't matter if we deserve to win a game. It's about getting results, and you're not getting any. That's why I don't understand how you can keep the manager for much longer if he's not going to pick up results. Because it doesn't matter how well if the team's getting better slowly, fine. But it doesn't matter if you don't convert it into wins. It doesn't mean anything.
So do you think the players are being run into the ground? Because you talked there about Pedro Porro needing to come off at half time. And I know a lot of us have spoken about before that, you know, he's overloaded. He's had so much football. And you know, if we do bring Andrew Roberts in, that'll leave some pressure for him to come in, and then Spence can move over. But some of these players have been run into the ground. Kudus for another one. I get the recruitment is bad, and they've got an Enoch need to take as much responsibility for this as Thomas Frank, right?
Yeah, that's where I sit with it, because our squad management for years now, whether it was Levy or whomever else, has been terrible. It has been absolute, you know, garbage. And the fact that we entered the season again with 3 senior fullbacks, that was going to happen. And Porro's burnt out. Kudus was burnt out. The reason I'm led to believe that Kulusevski broke down in the end was from overload. Dragusin was, you know, a mistake. Solanke, overload. The reason is these players are being overplayed. Look, it's a bigger football issue as well. Let's not forget, when you've got an expanded Champions League, you've got FIFA World Cups happening in the summer, you've got international matches, you've got goodness knows what else going on. So it's a bigger issue as well. But given the light of that, you still need to have a big enough squad to cope. Now, there is another thing at play here, and that is that the rules around what players you can and can't play and the restrictions, they may have worked when there was only 6 Champions League games, etc. They need reviewing, as you know, I think Frank himself said, that's just wrong. And then you're going into the next phase of the Champions League sections, you know, if we get through, and the players that are now long-term injured, you can only replace 3, not take out the ones that are long-term injured, which then puts even more load on the ones that are in the squad, because basically Spurs will be operating from, so we were only allowed 22 players, was it, with the restrictions, because we didn't have the club trained players. Then you've got 3 changes, then you've lost 4 players, 3 players that you had, so you know, you're down to 18 players. Well, it's going to overload the players. Of course, it's going to overload them. But like I said, this is an ENIC failing. Adrian put it perfectly earlier. When you go back to the Poch years, it started then. It started then, and here we are. So that was, what was that, 2014, and we are now 12 years later, and we're still having the same conversations. Absolutely disgraceful for an ownership. Absolutely pathetic. And, look, what signs are there now that we're going to fix the problems that we've got? Well, I would go and say that Robertson is fixing a problem that should have been fixed in the summer. Gallagher, you had to do because you've got central midfielders dropping like flies, because you've got, Bentancur needed surgery, Bergvall needed surgery, Maddison needed surgery, so on and so forth. So Gallagher, don't look at him as an improvement on the squad per se. It was just a necessity because we haven't got enough bodies, have we? Let's be honest, and of enough quality. So that is down to the recruitment team. And for me, if I keep hearing we're having this root and branch change at Spurs, then for me, Langer isn't the man to take us forward in the recruitment department of senior players. And if you wanted two sporting directors, then you have to go and get another one, because Paratici was allegedly, we were all told, we were given the bullshit that one looks after the senior players, one looks after the youngsters. So now you're saying, what's the argument to that? Do you now not think that you need two? And were you giving us a load of bullshit that you thought you needed two when we had two? Or was it, Vinay, because you couldn't make a decision about which one of them was going to stay and which one of them was going to go? Which, again, comes back to weak leadership. Yeah. There you go. Take that wherever you want. But the player overload thing is real. The squad rules regarding the Premier League and Champions League in the modern era are ridiculous. And we don't buy enough quality players. There you go. Summed it up.
Absolutely. Just before we do go, because we've obviously been here for nearly 90 minutes, and there's just under 900 people watching at the moment, so do really appreciate all your time. If you can go over to YouTube and subscribe to our channel there, Project Spurs, also Spurs Diehards. We'll be back with them tomorrow, I think, Adrian, if I'm right, I'm thinking. So yeah, if you can get over to them, they stream quite a lot during the week as well. Adrian will give you a little bit more information about when you do and don't stream, Adrian.
Yeah, we stream every Friday, but that's the later one. It's 10 o'clock because I've got American guests on then, and then 5 o'clock for them East Coast. But Ian goes at 8 o'clock on a Sunday, and mostly I would do a Tuesday at 9 o'clock during the week. But obviously this week we did the Wednesday because of the game. So because Project Spurs just went out before us, so we didn't clash. I mean, it's impossible. I don't bother if people clash with us because and there's so many bigger shows out than us. But I ain't bothered about clashing because it doesn't matter what time you go out, unless you're doing an afternoon or a morning show. You find you're always going to clash with someone, So you just got to go ahead. Project Spurs have got to do their own thing. We've got to do our own thing. If we happen to be on at the same time, it's not personal, is it? You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things. Yeah. So we're out 3 times a week. Like tomorrow, we probably have Gary and Callum on, and maybe Phil, or I want to get Joseph on. Si can come on. I mean, you'll all come on. I mean, we like all different types of opinions. So yeah.
So yeah, Diehard's great. Great place to be. Got a WhatsApp group as well, which is good chat, good people to be in and around as well. Callum, just let everybody know sort of the things that you're doing at the moment, where we can see you, before we say good night.
So obviously splitting my time between Diehards and Project Spurs. I know myself and you are working on some different youth projects in the background as well. We're trying to see who we can get to come on, which is great. Other than that, stuck behind a desk and still watching this crap. So I don't think we will be. Hopefully, we may get something to cheer us up by Tuesday, but it's all very quiet at the moment, and I don't like it. It's too quiet from contracts and all that. It's dross. Let's put it that way.
Well, there is now over 900 of you watching, which I appreciate. That number is rising as we go, as we carry on. So again, thank you for that. We are going to try and bring a transfer show with a journalist here on Friday. Me and Callum will be at the under-21s game at Stevenage. They are playing Everton, I believe. So it'd be nice to watch some of our under-21s in action. We'll try and do maybe a halftime thoughts, or maybe something we'll put out across our social media channels, obviously TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter, and all those nice social media platforms. So you're kind of everywhere, aren't you? You go on so many different shows as well. So just let everybody know where they can find you if they would like to follow.
Yeah, you can find me probably via Project Spurs or the Spurs Chat podcast. I'm normally around about those spaces, and on X. Find me on there. I've always got an opinion. Yeah. But I'm loving life outside of Spurs. I just need Spurs to give me a little bit of hope, a little bit of entertainment, and a little bit of a smile on my face from that part of my life, and my life will be magnificent. Loving my granddaughter. She's my little ray of sunshine, and I'll be seeing her later on, so I don't really care about Spurs after about the next 5 minutes.
So Si, more chance of a heart attack then from Spurs. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope not, Callum. Fucking hell.
No.
But let's not go too crazy. But yeah, I mean, all of us have probably got some great things going on outside of Tottenham. And even at the game on Tuesday after Dortmund game, I thought, oh, this is it. And then I watched 35 minutes of today and thought, no, this fucking ain't it. Joseph, where can we find you across social media?
Yeah, thank you again. If you want to follow me, it's Joseph THFC on X. Kind of just put out my own views, but to be fair, at the moment, it's pretty much all negative. So unless there's already enough of that on X. So but then again, when things are going well, and that hopefully that'll change. We'll see. We'll see how long it takes for something to start brightening up our day as Spurs fans. But no, again, really appreciate being on, mainly focused here on Project Spurs, and looking forward to more podcasts and more things we're going to be doing. So yeah, make sure you follow. And again, love to talk Tottenham. So if you want to connect and talk about Spurs or about any other football, I'm a big fan of Juventus. So I watch a lot of Italian football. So please, contact me if you want to discuss any of that. But again, just looking forward to more podcasts, and hopefully, again, we just need to see something change, because I'm fed up with this Tottenham team right now.
Absolutely. And you can follow me at Gary Arwood on Twitter if you're not already. There is currently 7 people watching us at the moment. Again, thank you so much. You can go over to YouTube, give us a like and a subscribe. It really help us just keep growing the channel. Unless something major happens, and I'm talking before Monday, we'll be back probably Tuesday for another chat, and then me and Callum will do some talk on Friday after, and maybe during the under-21s at Stevenage. If you are around Stevenage area, £7 to go and watch the game. It's easy, nice stadium. £7 to go and watch the under-21s play. You'll get to watch Luca Williams-Barnett. You probably won't see Callum Olasesi. I think he's on his way out of the club. He's on his way to Torino in Italy. He wasn't featured at all this weekend. Mason King's back recently from injury. Matthew Craig as well. Tiernan Thompson is doing absolutely fantastic in our under-21s as well. Ollie Boast down in the under-18s as well. Got some really fun, exciting youngsters coming through. It's a good chance if you fancy a Friday night, come and watch some football. Me and Callum will be there at Stevenage. Other than that, to the 910 people currently watching, again, thank you. Sorry that this isn't of a positive podcast. One day we will get a post-game that's really, really positive, or something that we can latch onto and we can all get excited. But until that day comes, we're stuck with what we've got. So until then, I appreciate everybody as always. Thank you, and come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Oh, the street.